On this episode of Out of the Box Gaming, what is the scariest of scary games? And can you name the 4 types of spooky games? So power up your favorite console, press play, and enjoy gaming with us. Hello gamers, welcome to Out of the Box Gaming, a podcast where we talk about games. What kind of games? Well, all types of games, like video games, board games, card games, etc. Now you may ask why. Why are you going to talk about games? Well, because we want to, and because we think that we have something to say that you may want to hear. If you are joining us for the first time or for the 23rd time, we want to welcome you. I'm your host, Nick Picard, and I am joined by the monster himself, Will Kinsey.
Ooh,
Yeah. I guess you like that one?
Sure.
All right, but wait. What's that lurking in the shadows? Oh, it's Alex Campbell.
Boo.
Jeez, don't terrify us like that, man.
Hello. I'm over here lurking away.
Welcome,
Shadows
my
hiding.
friends.
Waiting for a jump scare.
The biggest of jump scares. Well, that's right, guys. We want to show our love of games to you and possibly even introduce you to something new. As always, we want to hear from you, so feel free to drop topic ideas, discussion questions, anything like that you'd love to hear for us to talk about. And this can be done by going to our Discord, going over to the topic ideas or discussion questions text channel, and just typing away.
Yep. Lindsay is also here.
Hey guys!
And I believe she is ready with our trivia question for the episode. What do you have for us today, Lindsay?
I am ready with the trivia question.
Yeah, as of 8:40 this morning.
Well, you know what? It works, okay? My trivia question, I don't know, you guys might know, it was a surprise to me. My trivia question is, Nintendo became as a company, let me start that over. Nintendo began as a company selling which products?
I'm sorry, Nick. I know this one.
I think I know the year of this one as well, actually.
You could you might could guess it, Nick.
I'm just tired of always going first because I'm just going to give lame answers.
Well, I can't cheat and be like, hey, Nick, you know this one? It'd be like, hey, Nick, here's the answer.
No, but maybe you should go to Will and be like, hey, Will, do you know this one? Okay, I'm not using that one.
Well, I would if I, got it ready more than 2 hours before the show. So.
Well, that is a fantastic question that you have for us today, Lindsay. And if you guys want to think about that question at home, we'll come back to it at the end of the episode. So go ahead and type away your answers in chat. We're not going to look. Normally, we would go straight into the whole what have we been playing this week bit, but we're just going to skip that and go to our main talk for today, spooky talk.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, happy Halloween, everyone. It's Halloween. It's that spooky time. So we thought we would bring an episode where we're going to talk about spooky, creepy, horror, scary, all those types of games. And that's mostly why we brought our good friend Alex onto this episode, because he's one of those people that plays those types of games.
Yeah, I hate myself enough to just really make sure I don't sleep for a day or two.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how y'all want to do this. We can go in to talk about some of the spooky games we've been playing lately, since it's that time of year. I know Alex has been playing some.
Both been streaming some spookness lately.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You want to go with? You've done some very recently, Nick.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them I could the last 2 days.
Let's see. I'll just say with one of the games I was playing earlier that I started, I think, last week, and then was playing earlier this week. Not one you would think of, but it was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Most of it is not spooky, but there was just one part in that dang game that was really creepy. And I swear, whenever those creatures or human, whatever they were, to me, they were the spawn of Golem that came out and they were starting to attack me. It freaked me out. And there was a few jump scares in that game. I would just be walking like just kind of slowly walking, and then I'm like, I know as soon as I get to this threshold of this door, something's gonna jump out or scare me. And it didn't happen that time, but there was another time where it did happen. So
that's always like when games are the scariest, when they're not a horror game, but then like, oh, but you're gonna get a jump scare because this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a good amount of games that they just kind of implement some kind of jump scare or spooky little aspect to it, even though it has nothing to do with the game, like that one. Which I mean, I feel like yeah, and I feel like there was something was Lindsay, can you remember from Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second one, if there was anything creepy? I feel like there was.
I feel like there was. I mean, anytime you're in one of those like cave areas, or like, you never know what's gonna happen.
I'm pretty sure in Rise, that's the one where at one point you fall into like a tomb and like you just fall into a pile of skulls and there's like bones everywhere. I remember that vaguely.
Yeah. Which I feel like also the first one had a little spookiness, because I wasn't expecting it when I first played it. And I got to a part and I'm like, well, this is kind of creepy. It was mostly like, skulls, bones, all that kind of stuff. Like in a cave.
Like Tomb Raider is like a scary thing, like going into caves no one's been into for hundreds of years, and chasing after things. Like it's in concept terrifying.
Yeah,
or it could be.
Yeah, but yeah, that was.
Maybe we should have thought about that back when we talked about Lara versus Nathan.
Well, no, okay, yeah. Off the topic, whenever I was playing, I'm like, the more I'm playing this, the more I'm like, I feel like Lara Croft would definitely have this in the bag.
Yeah.
Straight up, yeah.
Did they ever add actual supernatural stuff to the Tomb Raider series? Sort of like Indiana Jones kind of has like weird supernatural stuff. Did they ever add actual supernatural stuff?
If by that you mean aliens, then no.
Well, like ghosts and stuff and random artifacts that'll melt people's faces off. Weird stuff that's not exactly explainable.
I'm not going to say anything of like the ending and stuff of the one I was just playing, because one, Lindsay hasn't finished it, and two, there's one of our friends out there. He hasn't finished it either, so I don't want to spoil anything.
I feel like there's some of that stuff in there.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, that's one of the games that I was playing that I wasn't really expecting to be one of the creepy games, but there was some creepiness in it, and I was just not a fan.
See, I've recently, and I streamed the entirety of both of these over 2 days, so it was like it played them both in one sitting. We did Layers of Fear 1 and Layers of Fear 2.
So
and
good.
They were both so phenomenal. Oh, so scary.
Now, when you say phenomenal, as in like phenomenal for being scary, or phenomenal as a game of a whole for it being scary in a game and like the mechanics of the game and all that?
I would say for one, phenomenal for mechanics of a game and everything. 2 was good. 2 was really good as well. 2 was a lot more polished. It had some really cool storytelling and mechanics. But 1, I think it was partially limited to their storytelling, because basically, if you didn't watch, if you haven't heard of them, both games deal with their psychological horror games, dealing with mental illness kind of as the driving horror theme and plot point. So in the second game, the character's dealing with more PTSD. It's a lot of flashbacks, and you kind of figure this out as you play the game. But the first one, you're dealing with a character with schizophrenia. So rooms just change, things keep popping up. Like you turn around, like the way I was explaining to someone else. There's one room, you walk into it, you open the door closes behind you. You're in a square room with no doors. You turn around, the door you came into is gone. You turn back around, there's now 3 doors. You open each one, they're bricked up, and they have a different like word associated with like guilt to you about how like you're, untalented because you're a struggling artist. You're and like all these things. But you can't leave. You turn around, there's a door back from where you came. You open it, it won't open. You turn around, the doors are gone. You turn back around, the door's back again. You can finally open it, and there's a new hallway that you didn't come down originally there.
And that sounds like something you would see in a movie.
It did,
And, like,
yeah. That's what it really felt like. It felt very movie-like, and the way, like, reality in the house kept bending around you to, like, put you in loops, to change the environment, it was just really, really cool.
hmm. I didn't get to see you play any of those games, but I did hear stories.
Yeah, gosh, I was loving watching both of those when you were playing. One of my favorite bits was the square hallway that manipulated time.
Yes,
That
that
was
was
awesome.
really cool. That was it used the reality bending of it for, storytelling, like Will brought up. There was a square hallway that you just kept turning left, you keep turning right, either or. And when I was going, there was a phone ringing backwards, and I came across, like, a phone, like, broken on the ground. And then I started going back and it started going forward, and, like, I saw the phone, like, reverse itself up onto, like, a balcony above. And then I went the other way, and the phone started ringing forwards, and then I found where there was an argument, and someone threw the phone off the balcony down on the ground where I was at. And it was, like, super cool using the kind of, like, time bending, mind bending mechanics of the game to tell the story of what was happening in the house.
Hmm.
So from playing the game, and then Will, I guess from you watching the game, what was like the most scariest moment that you had during your experience?
Trying to remember because they both blur together a bit, doing them both so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
I'm
the
trying
first one for me, I think, when I was watching it, I was like, wow, this is really like super scary. Was when I guess it's the monster, the thing we thought was the Shambler at the time. It was one of the chase scenes, and you had to go through these like little narrow corridors that I think there were like easels and like paintings and stuff. But it seemed very claustrophobic, and you had to move very fast, and it was pretty intense. Actually, it was in a
Oh, yeah,
house,
that
but it
was
was
the
pretty
second
great.
one, yeah. I think for
Um,
me, it was in the first one because it was very early on and I wasn't expecting it. 'Cause the first one, you're a painter, and so you have these paintings everywhere, and I walked into a room, the painting and I was not expecting this at all because I hadn't been playing very long. The painting just turns to face me, and then its skin melts off of its face, and then the
Oh
entire
goodness.
painting is now melting down the wall,
Oh goodness.
and then the painting flies off the wall at me, and, like, that was very early on.
I probably would have put the controller down, or well, I guess you're playing on PC. I probably would have just like put my hands away from it and been like, yeah, nope, 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 no, 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 no.
Oh, yeah. There was also one of the other scariest moments is in my infinite wisdom decided to be funny to have a scream sound for someone followed.
oh,
Yeah, I heard about that.
And midway through, like, there was only two of them, but they were both at perfect moments. One of them, there's like a monologue going on, and one of them, like, I was creeping through a hallway, and then suddenly there's just a piercing scream. And dear goodness, it got me so good.
he
Yeah.
jumped, Oreo jumped. It was a delight.
Yeah, I
I might
remember.
need to go back and watch some of this
Yeah,
stream.
I remember like years ago, I would watch a streamer whenever he would do. So he would sometimes play scary games,
Mm.
and he would like set up his top donation sound, or yeah, it was a top donation sound, and it would be like a very loud noise, and I think of him like saying something or whatnot, and
Mm.
there was a few times where people would just abuse that during him playing spooky games.
That too.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it was fun. It was very it was also funny because it caught everyone watching off guard too, like,
Yeah.
it scared
Mhm.
literally everyone because none of us were expecting it.
Well, have you been playing any spooky games like lately around this time of year?
um, No, I'm a disappointment. I've actually been waiting for the Halloween sale, and then actually waiting for this episode to see if I get any good recommendations on great horror games, and then I'll go and buy those games.
They started that sale really late. I do want to complain
They
about
did
that.
really,
it was
really
the
late.
29th, right?
Yeah.
The 29th through November 2nd.
Also,
Very
one other
short.
complaint. I bought Layers of Fear 2 to play it. Or sorry, I bought 1 first. I bought Layers of Fear 1. 2 days later, it goes free on
Oh.
Twitch.
Yeah.
I bought Layers of Fear 2. The next day, it went free on Epic Game Store.
Ooh.
Yeah, so real quick, if anybody out there, has Twitch and you want a free game, you can go pick up Layers of Fear 1.
Twitch
Yeah,
Prime,
you can
right?
get both of them
Prime.
free
Twitch
right
Prime.
now.
Yeah, both of them for free right now.
Which I do recommend. They were very good.
So.
I'll tell you what's not a good spooky game.
Oh, yeah. What's that, Lindsay?
Shall we mention Joe's Diner one last
Yo,
time?
Joe's Diner is a masterpiece.
You didn't play it.
I watched it. I watched you play it, and I watched a playthrough of it.
I mean, the first time I didn't complete the task in time. No, not that. The first time I was too loud and woke up the angry dead Indian chieftain. That scared me a little bit. But after that,
spoilers.
I just expected it. It was just
Yeah,
tedious. It was
I do wish that the jump scare, because that's all it is there's one jump scare that shows up constantly. I wish they would would have given more variance in that, and it wasn't just a still image of an Indian.
yeah.
It's kind of racist to say that that's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, this is on Steam. Joe's Diner is on Steam. It's $1.59 right now.
Yes.
Dang it! It's $1.59. We paid $8 for it.
Oh well.
Oh,
They must have heard me bash them.
An arbitrary amount.
Yeah, we paid $8 because it was after when we first talked about it. Lynn's like, yeah, I want to play it. I want to play it.
That's one of the games you won't be able to play on the new console, the new PS5.
Yeah.
Oh darn. Really missing
Why does
out.
this look like? This looks like a 10-year-old game. This looks like an Xbox 360 game.
It's pretty
At
bad.
best.
It's a really crappy diner dash. Basically, you're just cleaning up the diner at night. There's no countdown to when your shift is over. Apparently you can run, but I didn't know that. There's 30 shifts of just the same thing. So it's
You have to make it through your first month as a server on the graveyard shift, your probation period. And if you can't keep the Indians happy, you get fired.
Yeah.
literally graveyard shift because it's built over a graveyard. So I do not recommend.
Well, she may not recommend, but I know one game that I can recommend, and that's Little Nightmares. That was another game that I played this past week.
Such a good one.
That, I always heard good things. It was on sale, so I picked it up. And
You watched him play that too.
a little bit.
I remember watching him play it.
But there was, I'm not one of those people that loves to play, spooky, creepy kind of games or whatever. But this one, I was like, sure, fine, I'll play it. So I'll just say it's not what you would think of like a scary game. It's more of, it just has a really creepy atmosphere, and there's some things about it that's just oh man, that's kind of gross or disturbing to look at and all that, but it's not a jump scare scary kind of game. But it is a really good game. It's not long, but it's really good.
Yeah, how long can you beat it in?
Let's see. I think the first time I played it for an hour and a half ish, maybe. And then the second time, whenever I played, and I finished it, I think it was 2.5 more hours.
Oh,
So about 4 hours. So yeah, I think it's about a 4-hour game.
I found that horror games tend to be about, for the most part, 4 or 5 hours, and I feel like that's because Otherwise, they start to outstay their welcome, and they don't have new things to show you.
Yeah.
Fear. You'll get desensitized.
Yeah. But this one, if y'all haven't played it, I would, suggest to go and, try it out. And there's a second one coming out next year, from my understanding. I think it was February, from what I saw. But yeah, in the game, like the first, I don't know, chapters or whatnot. I don't know what to call them. It seemed like the main enemy hit the guy. He's blind. He has freakishly long arms. And he has a very short body. Like, when I say short body and long arms, as in, I noticed if he would just have his arms next to him, his elbows would touch the ground next to his feet. So,
it reminded me something of like Tim Burton, like a Nightmare Before Christmas type character.
Yeah.
A little more creepy. That's the vibe I got.
Yeah, so that was like going around having to, avoid him and all that. And there'll be times during the game where your character that you're playing is it'll get hungry. And you just start to move really slow. And I mean, each time it does it, like, you're going to get food no matter what. It's just part of the game. Like, the first time, I think someone from like inside the cafeteria, like on the ship, will throw you like some meat or whatever, and you're eating it. So, okay. And then I think the second time, it was the second or the third time, there was a rat that was caught in a trap. And I was like, I want to have to go and eat this rat. It's not actually dead yet. And then I go over there and my little character just attacks the thing. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, that was kind of disturbing. Not something that you want to see. And then later, this one really disturbed me, and I was really sad, because throughout the game there'll be like these little critters or whatever that will be going around, and I call them my little buddy. And you would go and find them, and I would like give them hugs or whatnot, and light a lantern in the room that they're at, so they'll have some light. But then later, like, you get hungry, and on the screen, there's one of the little buddies that's holding, has like some meat or whatever, and it's holding it out. I think it had a piece of sausage or something. It was holding it out to give to you. And there was another little buddy like up top, like on a shelf or something. And you go over there like real slowly. And then all of a sudden you just attack the little buddy and eat that. And I was just like, what the are you doing? He was handing you food and you attack him? I was so mad. And I was really disturbed, because I'm like, these have been my friends throughout this entire game, and now I'm just going to go and turn around and eat one of them.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it was very sad.
I joined in when both of those. I was there when both things happened, and when the sound of sheer horror when you just suddenly eat your little buddy, it was very unexpected.
It was, yeah. I was very sad by that.
Well, did it still eat the meat?
No, it was on the ground. I was like, I guess having that rat, he just wanted, fresh living, I don't know.
Did you do the DLCs yet, or for Little Nightmare?
No, I haven't done any of the DLCs. I was going to just play that base game and see how much I liked it, to see if I would, get the DLC.
That's fair.
I don't know how much longer the DLC is or what it. And
there looks like there's 3 of them, and from what I understand, at least from reading this, apparently you get to see your little buddies a lot more in all the DLCs.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't even know if they want to, be around me. I ate one of them.
Or eat.
That's fair. That's very fair.
But yeah, like the game's good. So like I said, the first like boss type thing, it was those guys with the freakishly long arms. The second one was a butcher type thing, and he was gross looking, and I kept saying that he looked like Revolting Slob from Crashbox, which I don't know if anybody has ever seen that. I kept saying something, but no one reacted when I would ask. Nope. So yeah, it just looked a lot like Revolting Slob, and it was kind of disturbing to look at. He was not a pleasant looking fella. And then there'll be times where you would just be.
You know what he looks like?
What?
He looks like the mucus from the Mucinex commercials.
Oh yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah, but just like bigger.
But there will be a few times where if you get seen by like that butcher or whatever you want to call him, he would just let out like a big scream or whatever, like, "Arr!" And I'm just like, oh Lord, here he comes. Yeah, and then I got through that, and then probably the next ones was the most disturbing. And it was just a bunch of civilians that were on the boat, and they were just like engorging like a massive amount of meat or whatever. And I think someone pointed out was like the food's not even like going in them, like they're putting it in their mouth and it just keeps falling back out, and they're just kind of doing that. And you would just be walking through, and then like there was one, and it just kind of threw me off. I was just walking, and he saw me, and he flipped the table like he was in a 3-hour game of Monopoly, and he was tired of it, and he just lunged on the ground and was just chasing after me on his like hands and knees or whatever. He was just like, you know, crawling on there, like not even running. And I tell you what, that thing was fast.
Yeah,
and,
for how big it was.
Yeah. And you know, and you'll like get away, but that was like the whole point of like that third part of it was just to dodge all of them, because at one point there was like, it seemed like an avalanche of them was chasing after you, and I just kept yelling to my character, run, 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 run.
And then to dodge the hands grasping at you as well while these are like crawling after you. Like it was
Yeah,
it was well done. I want to pick it up at some point now because it's like
it is again, on sale. Yeah.
It's like $4. It's like $6, I think, with all the DLC.
Yeah, it was really good. And then there was the last thing where you had to like face this tall woman or whatever.
The lady.
The lady or what? Yeah. Like going against her, it was kind of creepy. It was probably the most creepy of everything. Like, not kind of disturbed or gross like the other ones were. Hers was more of like a creepy, scary kind of vibe. So, but yeah, it was a good game. I would highly recommend it to people.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah. And then after I played that, you suggested another game, which was called The Room, which that one is not really scary. It's just, it had a creepy atmosphere with like the sounds and all that stuff, but that one was just basically a puzzle game.
Yeah, it's just like a sequential puzzle. They get creepier as they go forward because if you kind of read the notes, you're working for a cult effectively. Like you're being effectively initiated into becoming their something. It's very ambiguous, and it's also been like over a year for me. But they get creepier as they go forward. The third one is definitely much creepier, but they don't get that scary.
Yeah,
it's more just a creepy atmosphere and like creepy symbology and stuff like that. Symbology. I don't know. I can't say words.
Well, I can tell you one thing. From the games that I've played, I never actually got that scared feeling. Which I don't know. I mean, it could be different from y'all, but there's been times where I would get like a scared feeling of playing a game where I know something could be going wrong, and it would just like hit my stomach of, I don't like this.
See, I think the only one that ever got me that way was the first horror game I really played.
What one was that?
It was Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And I played it. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I've played some of that one.
Yeah.
I haven't got that far. I know at one point there you would go into a hallway and then there's just like the big creature walking out, and you would just see it, and that one was just like, oh goodness, that's what I have to deal with.
See, I started playing it, and I generally only played it at night because of how I was working at the time. But the first time playing it, I was alone in my bedroom. It was like 11 or 12 at night. There was a thunderstorm, and I just had headphones in, all the lights off, and just sitting at my laptop playing it.
Yeah.
And good grief, that was a choice. Especially like never playing anything like that on top of playing a game that was very revolutionary for the time and like very like set some of the defining genre tropes we see now in games like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I got convinced to play it by one of our friends, Whitney Steele. This is like back 2011. This is a long time ago.
Yeah, because I think the game came out in 2010, so it was a.
When did we first play it?
I don't know.
2013, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I guess you convinced me to play it, Nick.
Yeah, we were like playing it at one point. We were playing it together, like we both started at the same time,
And we were sitting in the same room.
So we were like experiencing it together, but we didn't get far. I don't even know how long the game is, but I don't think I'm that far into it.
Yeah.
But I can say that one of my times where I've had like that feeling. Now, don't laugh at me, but it was when we were playing Minecraft, and it's and whenever it was like it would be dark and you go outside and there's hordes of monsters or whatever. The sounds that they give are really creepy. But it's not the zombie that really scares me or the spider or the creeper. It's the freaking Enderman, man.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, like you hear that and you're like, oh, crap. And then if you like kind of see them tall and lanky like in the distance and you're like, frackin' A. And you don't want to make eye contact. So I'm just kind of looking down, running around. But you still hear like them teleport, and then even if you like slightly look up and if you see them, that scream that they do is just so unsettling. Ugh. And every time I play Minecraft, I'm just like, I don't want to deal with the Endermen. But I remember one time when I played, I was like, I've had enough of these things, and I was like, and I need some ender pearls. So I went out there and I'm like, come at me. And then I saw one, I chased him down and I beat him up. But it was like you would still hear his scream or whatever, and it would just like it would still like sit inside me, and I'm like, I don't like this, but I'm gonna kill you. So
well, that brings up, there's a few games like that where like they're not necessarily a horror game. You mentioned Tomb Raider earlier too. But like they'll have like one of the scariest levels of a game I've ever played was in Vampire the Masquerade, which is a creepy vampire game. But like the second level, you go to like this haunted mansion, and it's like scarier than most horror games or movies I've ever seen or played.
Vampire. I don't know if I've heard that one.
It's actually based on a tabletop role-playing system, which is phenomenal.
Well, I was looking up to see if that Vampire that you're saying, if it was the one that was free on PlayStation this month, but that one's just Vampire.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade's an older game. It's from like I was in mid 2000s. It's based off the roleplay system of the same name that I know me and Will have talked about a few times. But they made like a role-playing game, and you choose like what lineage of vampire you're in. You can be like the sparkly Edward Cullen, like, charming everyone, or you can be like a Nosferatu type vampire, really disfigured. And it's aged really well. Like, it's a very good RPG. But then it has this one level that's just, you have to go get something out of this old, I think it's a hotel actually, at a mansion. And it turns out to be haunted, and it's really spooky.
Yeah. Will, what about you? You've been kind of quiet. Is there any stories you have with where you felt scared, or any of the spooky games you've ever played?
Well, for a long time, I had never really played a lot of spooky games, but I'll tell you, the first spooky moment or truly scary moment that I had in a video game, obviously it wasn't a horror game, but it was back in the day. I think I was maybe like 12 or 13. But I was playing Gears of War 1. And there was the scene where the first time you see a berserker. And it's just the most horrifying thing. There's nothing you can do to it if you try to go out and shoot it. It's invulnerable to everything except for a laser you call down from space.
Oh man, this thing's terrifying.
It is. It's absolutely horrifying. And seeing that for the first time as, little 12-year-old Jimmy, I was so scared. And you can kind of get the feeling in the cinematic, the first cinematic of how terrifying it is when one of your squad mates gets scared, runs out into this hallway, and just gets mauled by the thing.
Oh man.
And yeah, it was not what I was expecting. Like I knew the game had these scary looking alien things that came from underground. But then I started playing it, and yeah, I saw the boomers, and the boomers were scary, but then I saw the berserker, and that was horrifying. So that was the first like real experience I had with a scary moment in a video game. But then I think the first actual like horror themed game that I sat down and played was probably Dead Space, which like
Dead
not
Space is really good.
necessarily the scariest, but it's such a good game and such a good
Mm.
series. And it's got those moments of that's creepy, that's scary, oh, that's pretty terrifying, and that's pretty disturbing. Like it's got all the elements you want with I mean, it was a little too much of a shooter for my taste now, but back
Mm.
then it was I was a big fan. Like now I'm more into those like scary puzzly games like Layers of Fear and Layers of Fear 2. Like
Mm.
loved watching those.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up. I was waiting for one of the scary moments to be Dark Souls 2 when you first meet the pursuer.
Yo, yeah, you know what?
Like literally when you started mentioning, I'm like, I know Will loves Dark Souls, and Dark Souls is pretty horror themed.
It is very horror themed, and I guess yeah, well, I think I played Dead Space before I played Dark Souls.
Mm. I mean, that would make sense.
But
Timing
yeah, so
wise.
there was in Dark Souls 1, the name of the enemy is kind of funny, but it's Quail Egg or Quail Egg. I think it's
Oh,
just called Quail Egg, and she's really scary. Just horrifying. I can't even describe
imagine a
her.
centaur, but the bottom half is a spider. That's
Oh
basically
Yeah,
what
oh.
Quail Egg
yeah.
is.
Wait. So like the kind of like the big spider villain thing in that Doctor Who Christmas special.
A little bit, yeah, but more terrifying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was really weird because, it's dark and spooky and then just here you go. Big old spider lady.
And on top of that, you're
Um
also playing it at like 10 or 12 FPS because that area is really rough.
Yes. Yes. Gosh. Dark Souls 1 was so special. Um and then yeah, Dark Souls 2, like I didn't get scared of a lot of bosses except for the pursuer.
Yep.
Because I just walked up. I was not expecting a fight, especially a fight of that magnitude. You just climb up this ladder, and there's this small, flat platform, and you walk like 2 feet, and Homeboy gets brought in on a bird and just drops down in front of you. Superhero lands and just wrecks your face.
And
I
see,
mean, you can
that
beat
one,
him, but I've never beat him on
I
that specific platform.
I haven't either. And that platform didn't scare me. It's the second time where he just rises up out of the ground and he's there now. And so
Oh
he's already
yeah.
wrecked you once. Like he's already demolished you. And then you're just
Yeah.
derping around, and then suddenly you just see this dark shadow come up, and he's back. And you can't get away because you just came down a ladder. And if you try and get on that ladder, he'll just smack you around some more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it was bad. But the pursuer, like he inspired my D&D character or some of his original tropes with carrying around basically a giant quiver of weapons of all of the enemies he's taken. Because
Oh,
the
no.
pursuer is a spooky man who literally chases down the hollowed undead and takes their weapons. So that was like a thing that I really liked about him. But yeah, Pursuer, one of my favorite bosses, also probably the scariest boss because of the way you meet him
Yeah.
in Dark Souls 2, I should say.
I can agree with that. For thing through a lot of the bosses, that's one of the ones that comes to me as scariest, as like a horror scary.
Yeah.
No, there was another game that I played. I think it was back in college. It was Slenderman.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was another one where it was like it was like Enderman in the in Minecraft, but it was a little bit more terrifying to deal with.
Those good like jump scare type games where
Yeah.
like your really only purpose is to get you with a jump scare.
Yeah.
I only played Slenderman once, and I never quite figured it out. Is the Slenderman like always on the map looking for you, or does it spawn at certain times? I know you're just going around finding notes. Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you go around find notes, but I don't know. I think he's always there because I feel like in the beginning, like I would just be there'll be times where I would play like after he would find me, I would kind of start and look. I'm like, I'm looking for you. Like I want to see if you're out there, and I could see him like in the distance in the woods. I'm like, crap, he's already here. So
I think from what I could tell of the game and could figure out of it, I think every time you pick up a page, he gets closer.
yes,
And like the long like he's basically always getting closer, and finding a page gets him a little bit closer as well as like where you go somewhat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's those good like jump scare games where like they give you something, tedious to do or give you something very specific,
yeah.
and then they try to give the jump scare kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's or something where it's like it's
Yeah.
just building to a jump scare always.
I have not played Five Nights at Freddy's, and I've never had someone say it's really good. You should play it.
It's all right. I've played the second one. It's not my favorite kind of horror game. Those like I'm gonna build you to a jump scare because in my mind there's kind of like four kinds of horror games, and those that just build to jump scares aren't for me.
Mm.
There's ones that are survival horror that are like Resident Evil, Metro, where it's like the horror comes from, okay, I'm constantly running out of ammo. I don't have the materials I need to keep moving forward. And it's that stress is the scary part.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of those either. Then there's like the gory, and that's like Outlast and maybe a little bit of little nightmares where it's like the horror comes from this is just creepy and unsettling and not look at. And those are okay because they usually also have bits of psychological horror, which are my favorite, which is like Amnesia: The Dark Descent, Layers of Fear, Call of Cthulhu, where there are jump scares. There are the kind of gory, gross out moments, but most of the horror comes from the atmosphere, the music, the unsettling nature of how you're trying to solve this. The fact that you can't fight back no matter what you do. Like you just have to keep hiding and doing things. And that's where the horror comes from. And that's the kind that I really enjoy.
Yes.
So, what were you going to say, Will?
I was gonna mention real quick Alien Isolation because it's one of those like survival horror games, but it's also very much the like you can't really fight back. You have to always be hiding and like moving, and it was really good. I don't know if you guys played it, but it was fun. And
that one's
apparently
on my
there's
list.
like
That's one I want to get to because I've heard really good things.
yeah,
Well,
I mean it's super good.
I did want to bring up because it seemed like we were kind of going in that direction. What are some of these kind of like horror, spooky type games or whatever that we want to try?
There's one I've been following now for like over a year. That is it's not an early access. It's just one of those like coming soon, no release date to be described or anything like that, called Scorn. And it looks so beautiful. Like you have weapons, you can fight back, but like it's a very gory, visceral game. But apparently, like the entire point is for you to just wander around this like nightmare hellscape, and like very much from like what they've talked about, and who knows what they'll deliver on. But like you have a gun, you can always fight back, but there are a lot of things that you just shouldn't fight. Like there's a lot like you have a lot of choices to make and like what you fight, what you don't fight. And there's lots of things that might look very scary, but they're actually there to help you, and others that are very scary and are there to hurt you.
Oh.
I want to pull up the trailer for people watching live so they can see it.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Is it,
I will say, like, content warning, it is gory and bloody and visceral, but
all right,
like
yeah, be
landscape,
warned.
but it looks really good. And I've had it in my wish list, like kind of saved for like a year, 2 years now, just waiting for something.
Like, when was this game first talked about? Because
I don't
I've actually never heard of it.
I found it on Steam about a year or two ago. I can actually find out exactly when I found it on Steam because Steam wishlist will tell me that. I added. Okay, no, never mind. I found this in February. I don't know why I found it. Quarantine has made this a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
that's fair.
that.
February was a
Last
couple years
year,
ago.
but no, I found it then in February, and it's been on my wish list since. And I've just been waiting for any news of it, anything to come from it, and it looks so eerie, so creepy.
Yeah, I'm already
Sort of like
getting
Gygax,
creeped
yeah.
out. I don't know what's. Yeah, I don't know what's going
It'd
on.
probably be even creepier with sound.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not putting sound on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very atmospheric and like what's
Yes.
supposed to be the creepy thing of it, and it just looks. I hope that more comes of it, and I hope that it isn't like a really disappointing thing. But apparently, it's also incredibly non-linear. Like you can explore it in any order, in any way you want to go.
I just thought of one game that kind of gave me a really unsettling
Gygax,
feel to it, but
Gyger.
I'll mention it after this this trailer goes through.
This trailer that I can tell you are not enjoying whatsoever.
No, I am not. What is he doing with that? You just feeding it?
And I normally don't go for the gory, gross type games, but there's something about this one that just like
Oh
the
no.
atmosphere looks
Oh
so
no.
good. This weird sideways veiny eye.
Oh man. Oh,
Dude,
no.
that's cool. Very Geiger.
So, oh gosh, no, I could not do it. One game that I will play, but I think it was like there was the story trailer that they did at the end. It was just kind of unsettling to me, and it was Diablo 4.
Oh yeah.
That trailer that they had of the whole blood thing, and then at the end where it was like 3 guys were basically like sacrificed, and they brought back what's her face, and it was like, you know, good trailer, but it was very unsettling. But I'm still going to play the game. Yeah.
I'm very excited for Diablo 4 as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other ones that I'm really looking. That's what I've been looking forward to for a little while now.
There's one I want to ask if you would ever play it, Alex, since I know you like these kind of games. PT.
Oh.
If it came out, yes. If I had a way to physically play it, then yes.
Well, some people's been playing it. I don't know how they've been playing it.
You either have to emulate it, or you have to have a PlayStation 4 that had it downloaded before it came out, before it got taken away.
Because I've heard that PT is one of the most scariest games that people's played.
I would definitely try
it. Let's see. It's a time loop game, but okay. I'm just like reading this thing.
Yeah.
In a disorienting first-person perspective, you wander through the same looping hallway over and over again, slowly uncovering an increasingly miserable mystery while a damned ghost pops up and scares the pants off of you. And more details about this mystery you uncover, the worse it all gets.
Culminating.
Yeah. And one of the most skin-crawling, taboo revelations I've ever seen in a video game. And it was made... I don't know how to pronounce these names.
It was Hideo Kojima, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a Silent Hill game, and then Hideo Kojima got like split with Konami and they just didn't make it.
Yeah, it was gonna
That's why the
be
whole
Silent
demo got
Hills,
pulled.
and that was gonna be the Silent Hill game, and it never happened.
Yeah. I would definitely love to play it. I just don't know how. Like, it's one of those, like,
Maybe
it's
in the
hard
future.
to play.
Maybe in the future you'll be able to. Maybe they'll make it easier.
Yeah. Or just because they pulled the demo because they don't have the rights to it. Because I think
Yeah.
his name is attached to it, and he removed, like, part of their splitting was he, like, removed a lot of things his name was attached to. And I don't know I don't remember everything that happened in that because it was a whole lot happened in a very short amount of time. And
I
a lot of it
didn't
was
know that Guillermo del Toro was also in on it.
Oh, I didn't know that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Like, he was the second director. It was Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro who were the quote-unquote directors of it.
I'm trying to think of other horror or spooky games gonna play soon. I know I'm planning on actually Monday going through the DLC for Layers of Fear 1 because you play as the daughter, and then maybe go into Amnesia or one of the Penumbra games or one of the other games made by the same studio. But to look forward to, I'm planning on it Christmas. I've decided I want to do like a horror game like marathon
For
and do a
Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, for a Nightmare Before
Oh
Christmas,
my goodness.
and just
Those
do
people.
Nice.
a bunch of horror games in a row. I feel like that would be incredibly fun.
I know there was one that I watched a streamer play. The Resident Evil Biohazard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And then another good one, I know we talked about it before, it was Until Dawn, the one that's on PlayStation.
Yes, that one is super good.
Yeah.
I've played that one. I recommend it. It's got a few jump scares, but it's more just it's very creepy, and like the choices you make really, really matter. And I love, like, Until Dawn is like being in a like horror movie.
Yeah.
And like you get to make the decisions when you're like, wait, why did they run that way? You get to be there and make that decision whether or not they go downstairs or go upstairs or do whatever. And after a point, that does become life or death situations for your characters. Oh, I can't recommend Until Dawn enough.
Well, I'll have to play that one then. Is it on sale right now? Please tell me it's on sale.
It's going to be one of PlayStation Plus collection for PlayStation 5, but I don't think you're getting a PS5, at least right now.
I would also say, Will, for you, if you're playing on PS5, watch out. They usually have a combo pack of all of them that you get Until Dawn, and a couple other like choice-based horror, like choice-based games like that together. So I've seen it sometimes where they'll like bundle them up. I think it's on PC though as well. I think they put it on.
You want to say something, Lindsay?
Yeah, there's one that I played. It was free on for PlayStation Plus. I like Alex said earlier, I don't know time anymore, so I don't know when it was, what month it was. But it's called Erica, and it was a short game, and it was cool because it was actually, it wasn't animated, it was filmed. So it was real actors, and you play it. You can use the touchpad on the PlayStation controller, or you can use your phone. And so I used my phone. You just download an app and you connect it with a code. And it's, like I said, it's a short game, but it was kind of creepy. But it's one of the ones where you make your choice, and whatever you choose determines the outcome of the game. There was some creepy stuff in it. Like, it wasn't. It might have been the right amount of creepy for me because I'm not like a huge horror person.
It's like a choose your own spooky adventure.
Yeah, and it was like her parents had died, and she was going back to this school where her dad helped build, and there was like this murder, and she was trying to figure out who killed her dad because she saw them when she was little. It was really interesting. I would recommend it. I mean, especially since it's free.
It doesn't take long.
No, it doesn't take long. That's not spoilers. You see that in the first scene of the game. I didn't tell you who killed her father.
Alex, have you ever thought about doing horror games in VR?
I have thought about it. Here's the thing. In VR, a lot of games are horror games.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
Whether they mean to be or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Will can attest to this. Robo Recall, that is a horror game sometimes.
Sometimes.
Like, you turn around and there's suddenly a robot standing over and you're looking at his torso. That's terrifying. But
then you can grab that torso and rip his head from his torso, and that's satisfying.
That is satisfying. I've thought about it. I just haven't picked up any. It was just something that, like, at the time, there weren't that many good ones when I originally had my Rift, and then since getting my Quest 2, I just haven't picked up any horror games yet. I've been playing a lot of Beat Saber, honestly.
Gotcha.
I will say Will, you were asking for recommendations earlier.
Yes, sir.
I would recommend, because I think you might enjoy it, the Call of Cthulhu game that came out. I don't know how much you saw of that one, and even Nick, you might be able to get behind this one because it's a slow burn. It's not as scary as Layers of Fear or any of those, but it's very like you're a private detective and you've been called to come to this island to try and help find like this woman is missing and like her husband was killed and stuff like that, and then she's insisting that it was a murder, not an accident, and you're being hired to basically go investigate it. And creepy things begin to happen, and it's like a very slow burn.
Isn't there a board game?
Right?
Do what?
Say what?
Will?
This is the one you streamed, right?
I did stream this a few months back, yeah.
Gotcha.
Isn't there a board game that's similar to Call of Cthulhu? Yes,
well, H.P. Lovecraft stuff is in public domain now, so like people can just use it everywhere. But there is Eldritch Horror. There's also Elder Sign that we've played.
There's Arkham Horror.
Arkham Horror, yeah. Arkham Horror is like the more focused version of Eldritch Horror. It was the first one that came out, and then Eldritch is like Arkham Horror takes place within Arkham, Massachusetts, and then Eldritch Horror takes place across the entire world.
Man, we didn't even talk about like board games and stuff, like because there's those, and there's also Betrayal of House on the Hill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Betrayal is such a good.
I know that one's and then there's another good board game. I haven't played it, but I saw the tabletop for it, and I think one of our friends has it. It was like a zombie one, and I'm not big on zombies, but that one seemed really good.
Oh, Dead of Winter.
Yes, that one.
That one is super fun, and that one also has the aspect of you can have a traitor in it, but not always, because the way you deal out the cards, like say you have 7 people, you have 8 cards, or like roll cards, secret rolls you put out at the beginning, and you put 1 traitor in it. So there's a chance you won't have a traitor. And so you're constantly worried about the zombies and the biggest enemy of all, your friends.
As it should be.
It's that one is very good. It's a lot of little pieces and a lot of setup, but yeah, it can get stressful.
Yeah, man, I wasn't even thinking board games, and I know there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, there are a ton of really good.
Yeah, there was one that we played back in college that I had, and it was a fun game. Evil. Yes, Resident Evil deck building game.
Still love that game.
That was.
I looked into that game because I was like, man, that was a really good deck builder. Like buying the set for it, like it's like $400.
I have. I don't know how many expansions I have for it, but I know whenever I got the base game, I had 3 or 4 maybe expansions at the time, and I think it was around maybe $100 total at the time when I got it. So yeah, it just
you gotta put it now.
Gosh, that was a good game.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming back down for some reason. But yeah, the base game is $50 right now.
Yeah, I don't think I paid that much for it.
Yeah.
No.
It's just one of those out of print, and now it's hard to find, and people like it.
There was another game I was going to ask y'all about that I kept seeing, like whenever I would like search up like really good spooky, scary horror games. It was The Evil Within.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one, not
Such a good
played it.
one.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I mean, I'm probably not going to play most of these types of games. So, but yeah, I heard like that one just kept popping up, so I didn't know if either one of y'all played it or have seen much of it.
Yeah, I played it. It's among those that is more sort of action based, but is set in a very, very well done story. So it kind of gets a pass from me on that, like maybe it's a little too actiony, but the story in and of itself and the lore was phenomenally done. But there are several parts where it's just a third person point of view shooter.
Yeah.
So it was more action oriented than I prefer, but it's a fantastic game. Not to give too many spoilers or anything, but like you never know what is actually going on, what the horror thing behind it is. And pretty much until the end.
Gotcha.
It's great. Very high production quality. Like graphics were good. Like I said, storytelling was good.
Yeah, it's like an actual AAA game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the one other I have sitting waiting is The Shore, which is like an HP Lovecraft inspired, which again Cthulhu survival horror game, and it comes out right before my birthday, so I know I want that for my birthday. I want to pick it up. It comes out 2 days before. And it looks like you wash up on an island with your daughter goes missing, and you're trying to figure out like where you are on this island and what's happening.
Lindsay, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say that The Evil Within was made by the creators of Resident Evil.
I mean, it looks very Resident Evil-ish. So, yeah. Well, I guess before we would like move on to the next thing, was there any like last minute horror type games any of y'all would want to recommend to the listeners?
I'm trying to think of any that like, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Like if I had to make a short list of ones, if I would say go play Amnesia: The Dark Descent, Layers of Fear 1 and 2 that you can play both for free right now. Call of Cthulhu was really, really good. Those are like ones that I would like say those were good places to start. And Outlast. Outlast is good if you can handle a little bit of blood.
Anything
Those are
Will?
I like 4 I'll throw out.
Anything from you, Will?
Man, I mean, after seeing those games, I would definitely have to recommend Layers of Fear 1 and 2. I personally, if you like the Alien franchise, Alien Isolation was really good. It was well done. You can get killed in all types of different manners, which is nice. It's not the same thing. And not about, I mean, I kind of maybe a recommendation, but we forgot to mention Alan Wake. It's not necessarily a horror game. It's more of a like
It's spooky.
adventure type game in a horror setting. And it's really, really good. And I was actually watching through some of the gameplay as we were talking, and the graphics hold up. I mean, surprisingly, for being what, 10 years old, 11 years old?
And I'll say
Something
this,
like
the
that.
story of that one is phenomenal and written by Stephen King.
Yeah, excellent story. Phenomenal.
That's one actually as well, Nick, that you might enjoy. Because again, it's not overtly over the top. Like it's more creepy and spooky than scary. But the story is really good, and that's a very good recommendation, actually.
Isn't that's one of the ones that we have in our monthly giveaway?
It is indeed. So one lucky
So-
listener can play it.
Yeah. I guess for me that I would recommend, one is Limbo. I haven't played much of it. I know I have it on Steam, and I think whenever I first got it back in college, I played a little bit of it. I know yesterday Alex was talking to me about it some too.
Yeah, Limbo is really good. So that, again, that's that light horror, but very good for light horror.
And then, Little Nightmares, like you just got done playing. Last of Us. I mean, obviously that was a phenomenal game. And sure, I'll just throw in BioShock. I haven't beat the first one yet, but I started it. But I mean, it has that kind of creepy vibe to it. So,
and the biggest enemy of all, unregulated capitalism. I love BioShock.
Me?
I mean, I was going to say, don't some of your Nancy Drew games have some spooky elements to it?
Yes, they do.
And Lindsay highly recommends the Nancy Drew game.
Okay. I grew up reading the books and playing the games, but especially the newest one, Midnight in Salem. It's got the spookiness. I mean, at one point you're in a cemetery at night trying to figure out what this witch stuff is going on. It gives you that feeling without really any jump scares, without gore or anything. So if you just want to dip your foot in, and also if you like mysteries, I'd highly recommend. I feel like with all of them, there's been at one point in the game where I felt like, that feeling like something's going to happen, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, Erica. I enjoyed that game.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to move on to the next segment, Nostalgia Game of the Week. This is where we're going to spin a wheel that has a list of games that give us that nostalgia feel. Once the wheel stops, whatever game is there, we're going to briefly talk about. Also, if any of you have any game suggestions to add to this wheel, you can go to the Nostalgia Game Suggestion in our Discord and put them there. So please do it, because would love to, get suggestions from other people and not just like mine and Will's. And we got Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. So, who wants to start off talking about Pokemon Stadium? I can't say much. I didn't play a lot of it. I vaguely remember some things, and I know I enjoyed it.
Well, Pokemon Stadium, I don't know if it was the first Pokemon game that I played, but it was definitely one of the first Pokemon games that I played. Which one came first, Stadium or Coliseum?
Stadium.
Yeah, so it's definitely
Coliseum is like a action RPG type thing, a Pokemon RPG. Stadium is the way to play Pokemon on a TV on 64.
Yes. I remember putting together a team of my favorite Pokemons and trying to be awesome. And what, you could only do 3 Pokemon?
Yeah, it was 3v3.
Oh, man.
Which, it's crazy looking back that like created the competitive format that Pokemon now uses, where you have a team of 6 and you pick 3, and that's one of the main competitive formats.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, Stadium made that a thing, and that's now the competitive way people play Pokemon, is that you make a team of 6, you see each person's team of 6, and then you pick 3.
Wow. That's cool. That's really...
It's one of the main ways people play competitive.
I mean, that makes sense. So it's like, these are my best 6. These are my best 6. Well, I feel like I'd be best against those 3 of your best 6. And then
and you secret pick them. That way you're like, okay, what do I think they're gonna pick for their strategy?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah. I have a lot of like really fond memories from Pokemon Stadium, because that was like, I had a Game Boy at the time. I'd been playing Pokemon, but that was a way that like me and my dad could play Pokemon together because we had
Yeah.
we had one Game Boy kind of thing, and he was big into video games, and it's like we would play a lot of Pokemon Stadium, like, and I would get mad at him and say he was cheating because he always picked Gengar, and Gengar was just too strong in that game.
Yes, he was.
And he would just talk smack the entire time about how and it was because I was, like 8. And like he would just say, "Well, no, you're just not good enough." He's like, "I'm a Pokemon master." He's like, "That's why you're losing."
Dang.
And he would make fun of it. Just brutal. Maybe you need to be a Pokemon master like me.
To be fair, you weren't even 10 years old yet, and you have to be 10 to even start your Pokemon journey.
Exactly.
So you were doing pretty dang well for your age.
Oh yeah. I also love that you could. I don't know if you ever had it, Will. Did you have the expansion thing you could put into your controllers? You could play your Pokemon red, blue, or yellow on the TV.
That's
No,
cool.
no, didn't.
It was like I didn't get it till like 2 years later. Like I think the GameCube was already out. We came across one cheap somewhere, and it was mind blowing. Even playing this old Pokemon game on a TV was like, this is amazing. Like that's my Blastoise. My Blastoise is on the TV right now, and I'm playing Pokemon Stadium with my Blastoise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to move on to our news segment.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Welcome to Out of the Box Gaming News with Lindsay Picard.
CD Projekt Red announced that, despite going gold, Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed for a third time. This delay was made to improve the game's Day Zero patch and to properly test it on the 9 platforms it will be playable on. The actual, literal, official Godzilla is coming to Fall Guys as a costume on November 3rd for the price of 10 crowns. Announced as part of the final Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, that's a name, of the year, a portion of the upcoming hack-and-slash prequel to Zelda Breath of the Wild will be available on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Halo Infinite project director Chris Lee has officially left the game's development following previous departures by creative director Tim Longo and lead producer Mary Olson. Free games coming to PlayStation Plus in November 2020 include Bugsnax for PS5 owners and Middle-earth Shadow of War and Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition for PS4. Call of Duty Warzone and Cold War will be merging in December. The integration between the two will include weapons, operators, and multiplayer loadouts from Cold War coming to Warzone. Back to you.
I wonder if Tim Longo knows he has a halfling name.
He does have a halfling name directly / Hobbit name.
I would like to say that I'm convinced at this point that Cyberpunk 2077 will be coming out in the year 2077.
Hey, I'm okay with it.
I'm fine with that because here's the thing: it's one of the I think it was Shiora Minamoto said like a delayed game is eventually good, a rushed game is forever bad.
Yeah,
it's like I'm fine with this getting delayed till it's out and good.
Honestly, I feel like at this point it's just going to get delayed till next year.
Probably,
but let's see, Godzilla coming to Fall Guys. That's pretty cool. They have some good like outfits that you can get on Fall Guys. I just never have enough crowns to be able to purchase it because the first one that I saw wanted was Peabody from Portal that you could get that outfit. I didn't have enough crowns, so
the money because I wanted the wizard. I had to have the wizard costume that was like the paid one. I was like, I need to be a wizard.
Yeah. And then the prequel game to Zelda Breath of the Wild, was it Hyrule Warriors or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah. You can go get the Porsche demo of it or whatever on the Nintendo eShop.
And your save carries over to the main game. It's the first chapter.
That's cool.
And you get to carry your save over when you buy it.
That's cool. Yeah, stuff with Halo Infinite, man, that's just not looking good. Project director leaves.
Look,
Oh,
there are
man.
3 Halo games, or 4 counting ODST, and that's all that matters. And Reach, so 5. There's 5 Halo
Okay,
games.
there's
After
5.
that, there's 3 numbered games, and after
Okay, so
that,
you're saying the ones by Bungie are mostly the ones that you just need to play.
yeah, just play the Bungie ones. Don't
Yeah.
worry about.
Don't worry
anything.
about, yeah.
3 ODST and Reach.
Like, Nick, do you remember we played 4 together? And do you remember
Yes.
how disappointing that was?
Honestly, I don't remember much of it. I just knew it wasn't great.
I remember playing co-op. I was so disappointed because they went away from a lot of the things that normally make co-op fun, and there was a lot of like, oh, Nick's now doing a button sequence, and I'm just gonna sit here and twiddle my thumbs. Like, it would take over my screen. I'm just watching Nick do a quick time event, or oh, there's a big mech suit. Oh, there's only one, and Nick is player 1, so it just automatically puts him in it, and there's just no mech suit for me. I guess I'll just run behind it.
Would that be the one that I played
Quite
with you
possibly
in college on what's that, Xbox?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gosh, man, back in college, roommate Ethan and we said that we were going to go through the Halo games together, and we never did. I think we got through some of the first one, and then we never finished. But
I'm excited to play Middle Earth: Shadow of War without having to buy it. So
I'm excited that the fact that Bug Snacks is going to be one of the free PlayStation games for PS5. Because I thought that was going well. I mean, obviously, like after that, you're going to have to purchase it if you want it. But yeah, but I think it has an extended time for that one's going to be out for free for PlayStation 5
yeah, because
users.
the PlayStation 5 won't come out till almost the middle of the month.
Yeah. I think they're extending it to the very end of December, so that's cool. Yeah, and then Call of Duty, I mean, I kind of figured that it was the games were going to merge, so I mean, got to keep stuff fresh in Warzone, I guess.
Oh, they did, because they added jump scares.
Oh yeah.
for this Halloween spooky time.
Yeah, so we're definitely on running out of time here. I guess we'll go to Lindsay.
Yeah, hope you guys have been thinking about that trivia question, because it's time to give our answers.
All right,
Yeah. So the trivia question said Nintendo began as a company selling which products? It sounds like Will and Alex know this, so I guess, Nick, you gotta go first.
Which products?
Mm-hmm.
See, whenever you say it like that, it's just making me think that it's not gaming related. And I have no idea. And I feel like I should, because I did watch the documentary Console Wars on CBS All Access.
Mm-hmm.
And that was between the war between Sega and Nintendo. But I don't know if they actually mentioned it on there.
I don't know.
I mean, okay, is it gaming related? Can I ask that?
Can I answer that?
I don't know. I'll ask them.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Yes.
It is gaming related. Okay. Shoot.
I mean, it's not like they just started with toilet paper or something.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if it was like something weird, like they started selling, these. They started selling a microwave or whatever.
I mean, that's fair. A lot of companies have started off doing weird jank before their successful stuff.
Like, I mean, specifically, you mentioned microwave. The people who made the Commodore 64 and early gaming PC system, they used to make filing cabinets. In Canada, you can buy Commodore filing cabinets in Canada.
I really don't know.
Give us a guess, Nick.
I don't know.
Think Japan. Actually, no, that's a terrible hint. Don't think Japan.
Yeah, don't.
That doesn't help me. I don't even have a guess. Like, I legitimately have no idea. I'd rather not give a guess than to give a guess that is just so bad that I would get made fun of, so I'm just not going to give a guess.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Should I guess next?
Will, you can go.
Okay. Well, Nintendo started out as a company that sold Japanese playing cards. I don't remember the exact name of the type of card, but it's like a special type of playing card.
They made, I'm pretty sure they're called like Hafunda cards, and I'm gonna go for the gusto on this and say I think they started in like 1889.
Ooh, going for the.
I'm gonna go full on, and if the year is wrong, then I'll default to Will winning.
Oh my!
Wow.
I mean, Alex got the year and the name.
Yeah.
Wow.
1889 Hanafunda Fuda.
Hanafunda cards. I
Wow.
only know this because I have a deck of them sitting on my desk at work because I found out and read about it and I thought it was cool. And I'm like, I kind of want a deck just around as like a collectible, and I found like a Nintendo, like they made it.
What were the chances that Lindsay would have a trivia question based on that?
I know. Wow.
That's crazy. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know the years because it says established 1889 on the side of it, and I have them like sitting on my desk.
That's hilarious.
All right. Well, we are going to wrap up this episode because we went a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay because it was fun. And we want you to be able to, contact us on all the different media platforms. Will, do you care to share where people can find us?
Yeah. So we've got our YouTube channel, Out of the Box Gaming. You can go there and find all 23 episodes of the podcast, along with some added bonuses. We need to add some more videos to that. We also have our Discord, which is linked there in our YouTube channel and anywhere that you can find our link tree. We always have a fun time in our Discord. Sometimes we play Among Us and other games. We have Instagram. Our Instagram is OOTB_gaming. We also have a Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @GamingOOTB. And be sure to check out our Patreon and all the awesome perks that you can unlock there. Speaking of Patreon, thank you so very much to our awesome Collector's Edition Patreon, Cody Watkins, also known as Indecent Sarcasm.
Yeah, and also speaking of our Patreon perks, some tiers get you extra entries into our monthly giveaway. And this month, ending today at what time, Lindsay?
10 p.m.
At
Eastern.
10 p.m. we are giving away Among Us and Alan Wake's American Nightmare on Steam. So
I will probably post the winner on Instagram tomorrow, which will be November 1st.
Yeah. So any of y'all that are listening on, the podcast app, later, by the time you'll be able to hear this, it will be too late. So hopefully
be on the lookout for a November giveaway.
Yeah. So just if any of y'all watching live, y'all want to, be able to enter, just head over to the Instagram, find the giveaway post, and then just follow direction. 2
or 3 of them posted. Yeah. Pick one.
Yeah, so go there, check it out. Alex, where can the listeners find you?
Yes, you can find me on pretty much mostly Twitter, Skylord Alexander, and you can find me on the Twitch page of the same name. I usually stream Friday nights to do a role play, and then sporadically other nights, but I have a big stream coming up Monday where I'm going to do a big kind of thank you stream for hitting affiliate finally. And we're going to play Layers of Fear, the DLC, maybe start Amnesia, maybe do some other horror things, or maybe just Among Us, who knows. I'm going to kind of let whoever shows up kind of decide some of that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
But you also find me in the Discord. I hang out there a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. And then for me, I will say, after, months of pondering and getting advice from others, I decided to do the Twitch affiliate program. So the podcast, the live streams are only going to be on Twitch. And then as for me, I'm also only going to be on Twitch, but you can find, us at Twitch at Ace King King. And then for me, you can go to my YouTube, Instagram at Ace King King as well, and then Twitter at Ace King King 77.
And I would like to say, so if you listen on one of our podcast apps, They will now be coming out on Sundays instead of Saturdays.
Yes.
For the 24 hours that we have to give because of Twitch. And YouTube will also be posting on Sundays now.
Yes.
Please make sure to leave a review on our podcast on whichever platform you found us on. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. You know what to do. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next week.
Yeah. This has been Out of the Box Gaming with Nick Picard, Alex Campbell, Will Kinsey, and Lindsay. Thanks for playing along.